Okay, what hit home, what I often think about it now, I remember getting so exhausted, getting so weak, right? And I said, you know what? Maybe I just go to the doctor, get some blood work done. And the doctor looked at me like, how are you going? How are you
Mm,
going? Your iron level are very, very low. I don't even know how you are functioning every day. So I had to be rushed somewhere to get a blood transfusion.
wow.
Yes, I had to get a blood transfusion. Angela, it just like I'm exhausted, but I didn't realize. To me, I felt like it was normal. I felt like it was normal. My
Mm,
body, had started slowing down long before my mind ever could.
okay.
I was dealing with pain in my discomfort in my body, but I kept going through all of that. I had hip pain, exhaustion, and constantly drained. But every day I kept going. I kept pushing myself. I kept pushing myself from 2007 to up until 2026, January of this year, when I decided, okay, my body, it just couldn't go anymore. I
Hmm.
kept pushing through all of that. And as a woman, especially, I spent years as caregiving. Like I said, married at an early age, started having kids, having to work, and I learned to function tired. I learned to function tired every day, getting up, doing the same thing, ignoring the signs. And
Ignoring the
and I
sign.
often tell my husband, I said, before this pain actually became, uh, that I became aware of the pain. I'm wondering, was it there all along and I was just blocking it out? I'm
And
wondering, was the pain actually there and I was just blocking it out?
hey, gorgeous. Welcome to Unapologetically 50 Plus. So today's conversation, it's a real one. I'm sitting down with Merelda, and we are going to talk about what happens when your body finally says enough. This isn't just about physical pain. It's about slowing down, listening, and what it looks like to come back to yourself in the middle of all of it. But before I bring her on, I have one huge favor to ask. If you find any value or enjoy the content, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Your engagement really helps build this channel. So thank you. I truly appreciate your support. All right, let's bring on Merelda and let's get this conversation started. So, first, I want to start at the beginning of your story.
Okay.
So, before all of this shifted for you, what did your life look like day to day?
Oh my gosh. Before everything shifted, my life was always taking care of everybody else. Always take care of everybody else. And I was thinking as other day I was thinking, I said, I wish I can go back to that girl who was only someone daughter.
Yeah,
Only
yeah.
someone daughter. In 1989, I became a mother for the first time. That's when things started shifting there. Let's go back. 1988, I married in 1988. So after that, I was still somebody else's daughter, but I was still a wife as that. So my life started shifting there. I had to get used to that process. And then 1989, I had my first child. So now I'm someone daughter, I'm someone wife, and now I'm someone mother. So I had my children from year 1989. I had my last one in 1997. And
Okay.
somewhere in between all of that, I was constantly working, caregiving and serving. Mostly the jobs that I had, it was serving, was caring for others. I love to care for others. I love nursing, CNA. I was a CNA. I worked as a CNA from 1988 to 1995, and then in the midst of going back to school, raising my kids and all of that. And then I went to LPN school, became a licensed practical nurse. That's what is known in Florida. In 1995, I went back to school and I became a licensed practical nurse in 1996. And I worked from as a nurse from 1997 to 2007. So all I was doing there in the midst of caregiving, caring for others, caring for my children, being a wife, being somebody's daughter, in the midst of all of that, and in 2007, we decided to open up a school.
Oh, okay.
And so 2007, I left nursing and opened up a preschool. So I started a preschool in 2007. And I believe that's when everything right there began to just really shift where I really stopped pouring into myself, just pouring into everyone else because I was trying to now, here I am now being a wife, being a mom, being someone else's daughters, working as a caregiver, caring for the elderly, constantly working. And now here I am, I started a business. Now I'm pouring into parents. Trying to keep a business open, being
Right.
the administrator, being a teacher, being a cook, being everything for everybody. Had my staff because by nature I am a nurturer, a
Mhm.
nurturer. I love to pour into people. I love to encourage people. So and all of that, I'm doing all the things, and in the midst of all of that, here I am trying to hold a business together, thinking it was only one me trying to hold a
Right.
business together. Which I felt that way because I felt that if I didn't do it, it wouldn't get done right. So therefore, with me being the strong one, that's what everyone looked at me as a strong one. So I did that all of those years, and at the same time, I was helping my husband in the ministry, raising my children. Like I said, in 2007, we opened up a child care center. We're still operating today. And my day was full. Every day, everything it started back over. I was just busy all day, just busy. I stayed needed. I stayed poured into everyone else. And honestly, Angela, I didn't realize how disconnected I was until I just didn't realize. I realized how disconnected I was. I was in survival mode all of those years. Until those responsibilities seemed like they were normal responsibilities.
And it
So,
sounds like even earlier, you talked about you went from being someone's, you were someone's daughter, of course,
mhm.
but then so early in your life, you became someone's wife. So
Yes,
you
yes.
never had a chance to really figure out who you were in all
Mhm,
that because you
mhm,
jumped from one role, one responsibility as a
mhm,
daughter
mhm,
to, a wife and then to a
mhm,
mother and to then,
mhm,
going to school. So
mhm.
yeah, you never really had the opportunity to find out
No,
who you were.
no.
So that can take a toll as
Yes,
well.
yes,
So
yes,
you were carrying a lot for a long time.
yes. Oh my God.
When did your body start responding to all of that? What
Oh
was
my
happening physically for you at that time?
I noticed what hit home, what I often think about it now. I remember getting so exhausted, getting so weak, right? And I said, you know what? Maybe I just go to the doctor, get some blood work done. And the doctor looked at me like, how are you going? How are you
Mm,
going? Your iron level are very, very low. I don't even know how you are functioning every day. So I had to be rushed somewhere to get a blood transfusion.
wow.
And yes, I had to get a blood transfusion. Angela, it's just like I'm exhausted, but I didn't realize. To me, I felt like it was normal. I felt like it was normal.
Mm,
My body, had started slowing down long before my mind ever could.
okay.
I was dealing with pain in my discomfort in my body, but I kept going through all of that. I had hip pain, exhaustion, and constantly drained. But every day I kept going. I kept pushing myself. I kept pushing myself from 2007 to up until 2026, January of this year, when I decided, okay, my body, it just couldn't go anymore. I
Mhm.
kept pushing through all of that. And as a woman, especially, I spent years as caregiving. Like I said, married at an early age, started having kids, having to work, and I learned to function tired. I learned to function tired every day, getting up, doing the same thing, ignoring the signs. And
Ignoring the
and I
sign.
often tell my husband, I said, before this pain actually became, that I became aware of the pain, I'm wondering, was it there all along? And I was just blocking it out. I'm
And
wondering, was the pain actually there and I was just blocking it out?
And I think that's a lot of us we do that. We push through the pain and we're still functioning, but yeah, we're blocking it out or we're questioning, is it in my head or is it really something wrong? And instead of taking the time to say, you know what, let me figure out, is this something that I need to look into?
Mhm.
And instead of just pushing through, we don't take the time to really
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
until it becomes so severe that we
Yeah.
have to stop.
Yeah.
Your body, there's a book, your body keeps the score,
Mm-hmm.
and your body will keep the score. And if
Yes.
you don't listen,
Mm-hmm.
and I was the same way. I was pushing through a lot of different, lower back issues. And I mean, not enough to get surgery, but enough to say, okay, if you can't walk or you're having so much pain walking and you're not paying attention to this and just pushing through because, of the job or, this career that you have,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then what good is it to keep pushing through
Yes.
and not listening to your body and
Yes.
wearing yourself down more and
Yes.
more for
Yes.
someone else?
Yes, that's exactly what I did. I had the blood transfusion, back
Mm,
up, running the business the next day. Didn't
mm,
stop, kept going, kept pouring myself out like a drink offering. Just kept pouring myself out, kept pouring myself out.
right.
And eventually, my body stopped cooperating. It
Mm-hmm.
stopped cooperating with the version of me that believed that I could carry everything and that I could carry everybody.
Exactly.
Yes, it stopped. It just
Yeah.
completely stopped.
And I think at some point we have to realize that it's deeper than just physical pain
Mm-hmm.
because we are conditioned to think that we have to push through it and our pain should be the last thing on the list before we decide to take care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when did the awareness start happening for you?
Probably, I think it really hit home during COVID 2020 when we had to sit.
Wow.
When we had to sit, that's when I started having the hip pain. That's when I put it this way, that's when the hip pain became noticeable.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that's when I know that, okay, it's something going on here. I'm feeling these pain. So in 2020, so I went from 2007 to 2020. And that's when that hip pain, I actually started feeling that pain. That's when it actually started, when we had to sit down during COVID. And I went to the doctor. That's when I said, I'm going to the doctor to see what's causing this hip pain because during that time, I barely could walk, but I was walking, but it wasn't as severe. I still could keep going, but the pain was noticeable enough. So I went to the doctor. That's when they did all the x-ray and everything. That's when he told me, I got hip arthritis in the hip, and eventually I'm gonna have to have a hip replacement surgery. So, but I still kept going after that, Angela. I still didn't stop. That still didn't stop. I kept showing up for everybody, kept doing all the things, kept with the people pleasing, just kept on. I kept on, kept showing up every day, even like from 2020. And then it started really getting really noticeable around what 2023, I believe that's when I had my first injection, my first steroid injection.
Okay.
So 2023, that's when it became so severe. Okay, now I got to go get me some pain relief. So I got the hip injection. Like I said, it did good for about 3 months. Here
Yeah.
I am still doing all the things, still going through all of that. Then 2024, I had an injection April of 2024, I believe it was went on a cruise. And that's when it just really after went on the cruise in 2024, had the injection in April. So on the cruise, that's when the injection just wore off. Okay. The pain on the cruise, it wore off.
Mm,
And that's when reality really hit me that, you know what? I got to do something. Something I got to do something to take care of me. Because as we was leaving off the cruise,
mhm.
I had to be wheelchair off the cruise ship.
So it's
And I
it's
think,
I was gonna
yes,
say it sounds like your
yeah,
body finally said enough.
yes, yes, I had to get
Yeah.
wheelchaired off the cruise ship. And then my children, they went on ahead of us. My husband was waiting on me because I couldn't walk fast. And as we got, to the part of the for the area where you have to, check out and go onto your cars. And my children watched someone wheelchair me out, and I seen their face. They were like, we did not know mama was in this, had got in this shape. I seen the look on their faces, and that look was just like, wow, because I was a strong one,
Right.
and seeing me in the condition now where I'm weak now, where mama is not longer strong anymore,
Right.
and let someone And then watch me being that vulnerable was just difficult. And that's when it really, okay, I got to do something. But Angela, I still didn't do anything then.
Just
Oh, that
hard-headed,
was during the
huh?
summer. Yeah.
Just
Then we
hard-headed.
opened back up to school and went back and opened up back up in August. I showed up then. I showed up limping. I showed up still limping, still going, still doing all the things, pouring into everyone else. I kept doing it and I kept going until what December of this year. That's when I said, okay, my body stopped. It completely stopped. It shut down.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So instead of hiding during this moment in your life, you started sharing pieces of your journey. So
Yeah.
how did TikTok become a part of your
Oh
healing
wow.
process?
TikTok really started in because that's like I said, I started having the pain and I wanted an avenue. So I said, maybe I need to change my health. So I started juicing. I went into juicing. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna open me a TikTok and just share my juicing on TikTok, just share my journey of juicing. That was in 2025. And so,
Mm,
like I said, as the pain and everything got so bad, so I stopped juicing. So I stayed off of TikTok. So and this year, January of 2026, and as I knew then, okay, I cannot return to work now. I can't. So I told
okay.
my family, okay, y'all got to operate the business now. So December, I'm gonna get to that. Let me go back to this. In December of 2025, I remember we had an event at the school and I started to not take on that event. I started not to, but I went on and took on that event anyway. And I remember after leaving that event, I came home. My husband and daughter was in the living room, and I went in the bedroom and I went in the closet, to change my clothes or whatever. And I broke down. I broke down. I broke down crying so bad. And I didn't want them to see me crying because I'm like, Lord, if they see me like this, and they're gonna think they're gonna have to take me off somewhere to get me some help. I'm about losing my mind. And I remember sitting on side of the bed after that and boohoo crying. My husband came in the room and had my back turned to him because you look now, I want to be the strong one. I don't want them to see me, like this, want him to see me in this condition. So I guess he came in the room, do what he had to do, and my back turned and I'm boohoo crying. And I came in the living room after I got through crying. And I remember right then, okay, I can't go back. I can't go back to the school. I'm gonna have to sit down and see what's going on with me. I got to come home to me. And I sat on side of the bed, maybe a few days before Christmas, Angela, I couldn't move. I could not move. I sat on side of that bed. My body just stopped. And I couldn't go to church that day. I told my husband, I said, I can't go. I don't know what's going on with me. I said, I'm empty. I said, I don't
Mm,
pour it out so much until I cannot pour out anymore. I actually felt the depletion. I actually felt depleted. And the Holy Spirit came into me. And I remember he telling me, you could come off the wall now. So what he meant by the wall is that I stood guard. I
mhm.
was always in survival mode. I was always on guard, looking to see what can I do next? Who can I take care next? And now God said, okay, you got to come down now. You got to come down and you got to take care of you. And I appreciate my husband so much because he allowed me to do that. He allowed me to rest. And so now coming to the question that you asked. As I was going through this crying, things started coming up. Things just started coming up. I'm like, where's all this coming up? This happened years ago. Where's this coming from? Because I guess I buried it down. We keep going with all the hurt, with all the pain, with everything that we experience. We keep going. We bury it on the inside. So now, body coming home. Body kept score. It's coming home for pay now. Okay,
Right.
I let you survive all of that in your survival mode. I let you keep going through all the pain, through all the hurt, through all of that, through all the people pleasing, through all of poured into everyone, through all of putting yourself last. Okay, now it's time for you. It's time for you to come home to you now.
Right.
So I remember sitting down after all them they went off. I'd be home by myself during the day when the school was open. So, and I remember sitting down. I'm like, Lord, I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm going through. I know all of this past stuff just keep coming up. Where is this stuff coming up from? So I said, you know what? I'm finna get on TikTok. So I just got on TikTok and I hit that search, went on that search bar, and I just typed in, women's experience, what I was experiencing. And bam, I found the whole community. And I'm like, oh God, I'm home now. I see. So that's when I began to start sharing my journey
Yeah.
on TikTok, sharing what my healing journey, everything that I post is my healing. It's me, it's my story, it's my truth. And that's where I started healing. I started healing for sharing my journey. So
Mm,
that's what led me to TikTok. And that Vitality Sip name, it didn't start it off as a healing journey. It started off as a juicing. So like I always say, as God, I said, God has got to be a purpose for this pain. So God knew all along. So he even had established the name Vitality Sip Diaries. He knew beforehand.
yeah.
So I am so happy that he allowed me to rest because so many women's died. So many women didn't even make it. Some of them had strokes and heart attacks
Yes.
from stress, from burnout,
Right.
from exhaustion. They do not live to tell their story.
Right.
Even
Right.
my mom did not live to tell her story.
Mm,
You know, my mom died at the age of 49, and I watched her. I
yeah.
watched her. So I guess a lot of the traits that I learned to put myself last and pour out to everyone, take care of everyone else, I watched her do that.
Right.
And I think a lot of that, that's where I get it. You know, that's why I was real like that. I watched her do that. And now on my healing journey, I always say I'm healing for her now. I'm healing for my mom because my mom never got a chance to heal.
Right.
So I am on the healing journey for her. This is a personal story. You know, this is my truth. This is my journey. Yeah. So that's how I came on TikTok. I didn't know it was going, bring me to this.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
were talking before we started, before we hit start, hit record. We were talking about how, as women, sometimes it's hard for us to express and talk about our journeys because we were taught, especially, us being Gen X, we were taught to, you know, not to talk about or not to express our emotions, express our needs. We were taught to,
Hmm.
just be
Hmm.
there to help everyone else, and we were taught to, keep your feelings to yourself. And so your healing journey is powerful because now we are able to and feel more comfortable at this stage in our
Yes,
lives
yes,
to
yes,
talk and to express how we're feeling and not really care what everybody else thinks because this is
yes,
our journey, and we know
yes.
there's so many women out there
Hmm.
that are maybe not going through the exact same thing, but they still have a story and they still relate to the people pleasing, to putting themselves last,
Yes,
to
yes,
making sure everybody else is taken care of,
yes,
and
yes.
letting our own bodies and our own spirit, you deplete,
Hmm.
and that depletion is
Hmm.
real. It's
Yes,
real. We
yes,
don't
yes,
we don't think it is,
yes, yes,
but when you finally sit down and really have that moment of quiet, everything starts bubbling to the
yes,
surface.
yes. That's what
So
happened.
yeah, so
That's
I
exactly what
really
happened.
appreciate you being
Mhm.
vulnerable enough to tell your story and to come on here because you said, you're out of your comfort zone, and I
Yes,
totally
yes,
understand. So
yes, yes,
I
yes. But I'm
appreciate.
good. I'm good because, like I say, it's bigger than me now. I
Yeah,
wanted to get this story out. Let the next generation look. You don't have to continue
right,
to pour yourself out. You can take care of yourself.
right.
And during this whole time that I was resting, body couldn't go, couldn't walk, in pain, and here I
Yeah.
am feeling guilty about sitting home.
Yes.
My
Yes.
family is gone, and here I am, I'm feeling guilty. Didn't
Right.
even know how to rest.
Right.
Didn't know how
That's
to pour back into me.
that's very powerful. You didn't
Yeah.
know how to rest and you didn't know
Yes.
how to pour back into you. That's a powerful
Yes.
statement. That's a
Yes. I didn't
powerful
know
statement.
how.
Yeah.
And during the midst of me resting, during the midst of me coming home to myself.
If this conversation feels familiar or it's touching a part of you that knows something needs to shift, I've created spaces for women navigating this exact season of life. From live conversations to more personalized support through coaching, everything I offer is centered around helping women reconnect with themselves in a more honest and intentional way. If you want to learn more, the links are below. Now let's get back to our conversation.
I remember God reintroducing me to me.
Mm, wow.
I remember He telling me to come home to you now.
Mm,
Welcome home, Marie. He actually come in and welcome home, Merelda.
mm,
Welcome home.
wow.
Yes.
That's a powerful statement.
Yes, wow, because I had been separated from me a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
As a,
didn't know me.
as a
Did not
lot of,
know me.
yeah. And a lot of women
Gosh.
don't. They don't know themselves. They know their 20-year-old self, in your
Yes.
case. And in your case, like we said, you went from being someone's daughter to someone's wife to someone's mother
Yes.
that, even your 20-year-old self, you might not have known even your 20-year-old
No.
self. So a lot of us don't know who we are because
Hmm.
we've been in these roles for so
Yes.
long.
Yes. Yes.
But listening to you talk, it sounds like you move through life very differently now. So, what do you understand about yourself today that you didn't understand back then?
I understand now that I don't have to prove my love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to um, please people to
Mm-hmm.
like me anymore. I don't have to do that anymore. I can choose me now. I
Yeah.
can choose me. I can love me for the woman God created me to be,
Mm, that's
you know,
beautiful.
because I realized for everything that I did, it was for people pleasing,
Yeah.
pleasing the parents, because afraid the parents going to move their children to another school. So I had to make sure everybody was happy.
Yeah.
So now, you like me for who I am,
Yeah.
who God created to me to be now, who God created me. You like me. This is me now.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's not just, it doesn't, and for you and for most women, it's not just physically exhausting, it's emotionally exhausting. It's,
Mhm.
it's spiritually
Yes.
exhausting. So even
Yes.
what you were just saying about, having to, you know, please, the parents in your
School.
school,
Yes.
that
Yes.
can be emotionally
It
exhausting because you
was.
are putting on,
Yes.
this different persona than who
Yes.
you actually are, and that
Yes.
that is exhausting, and we don't think
Yes.
about that. We
Yes. It
don't
was
really think about that.
exhausting, pleasing everybody,
Right.
pleasing, just pleasing. I remember when we first opened up the school, high energy. I was high energy. And I remember one of the employees, I guess she saw me one day and she come to me and, I didn't know what she was saying. I thought she was about crazy. So she said, Merelda, she said, you need to slow down. She said, it's she, because she says a spirit. She said, you got a spirit on you. I guess it was a spirit that's
Mm,
constantly just always on the go. The spirit just always got something to do. And I guess she noticed that. And you know what? I think about that now. That's what she meant. And that's what I was doing. I did sit down. I was constantly just moving,
right.
constantly just going. Couldn't sit down. Didn't know how to rest.
Mm. And
Yeah.
that's powerful too. We don't know how to rest.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have been conditioned not to rest. Even if
Mhm.
our minds are still going, even if
Yes.
we're in bed, our minds are still
Yes.
going. What do
Yes.
I have to do tomorrow?
Yes.
What 20 things do I have to get off
Yes.
my to-do
Yes.
list? So when
Yes.
you look back now, do you feel like your body had been trying to get your attention for a long time?
Oh, yes, Angela. Yes. I remember uh just kept going rushing and trying to do the next thing. And I remember through all of my rushing falling, I would actually fall. I think I done fell about 4 or 5 times in my
Oh
adult
no.
life. Fell, and that was my body warning me, you need to slow down. I even I think what probably got that hip when I had to fall at school.
Mm-hmm.
I fell, and luckily, I'm so happy that no children was close by because I
Yeah.
had a hard fall. Yes, and I think that, and I think I started having where times where I couldn't concentrate, like when I have to try to complete a task.
Uh-huh.
It was just like, you know what? I didn't even have the energy, the strength to complete the simple things. Even in it like anything was like it was just exhausting. like I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it anymore. Because I was the one, that took care of everything, paying the bills, make sure everything is done, everybody get paid on time, make sure my house bill is paid, make sure everything is done. And Angela, I didn't even have the energy to do that anymore. It's just like things that I used to have the energy to do, I didn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it, but I still kept pushing myself. Things was falling behind.
Yeah.
But here I am, then I knew, I needed help.
So you mentioned pushing and always carrying. Where do you think that pattern started
Oh
for
gosh,
you?
it had to come from my mom. It had to come as a child because I was the only child. I was the only child my mom had.
Okay.
I think it comes because during the time I was growing up, it was just like, okay, if I go do something, I get something. If I clean up the house real good, because my mama was an immaculate, she liked her home immaculate. It had to be spotless. So I said, you know what if I want something, if I want mom to go buy me something, I would just go clean up her house real good. And I got awarded for doing that. So whenever I did something good, I got awarded for it. So I'm thinking as in my adult life, I took that in my adult life. If I treat people good, I'm gonna get awarded, and people always used to tell me, you so nice, you so kind, you always smiling. And I believe, yeah, that's where I got it from. Yes, had to. Performing.
Yeah.
I performed. In order to be celebrated, I had to perform.
I like that the way you use that wording, you had to perform in order to get,
Yeah.
rewarded.
Yes.
So, and
Yes.
we don't think about that we are performing to a certain
Mm-hmm.
degree. When we start
Yes.
doing things that we really don't want to do, yes, there are some things all of us have to do, go to work, pay bills, there are certain things that we all have to do. But when it becomes something that we just do to get the reward instead of looking back and saying, I really don't want to do this. So,
Exactly.
do I really want that reward? Is that
Yes.
reward that important?
Yes. That's what it
And
was.
when you start
Yeah.
pushing just to
Yes.
get that reward, you have to really
Yes.
sit back and say,
Yes.
you have to rethink some things. You
Yes.
really need to rethink some things.
Yes.
So
Yes.
once everything slowed down, you said your emotions started surfacing. So what
Yes.
do you feel like you were really releasing during that time?
Oh wow. During that time, like I said, my husband, we were young. We started a ministry, and I think a lot of my hurt came from ministry. Being
Mm,
hurt by people that was in the ministry with us.
mm,
Because we were young, and you would think, okay, church people don't act this way. Church people don't do this. So we was young and naive, and a lot of the hurt came from there, and a lot of the because my husband and I, we had to push through. My husband being in the ministry, he was hurt. We both was hurting at the same time, being hurt by the people in the ministry.
mm.
But we had to keep going, through all of that. We had to keep showing up. So we never had time to process all of that. I never even through all of that, my mother, I never got a chance to grieve my mother through all of her. She came up through all of
Okay.
that. I'm like, you know what? I didn't even get a chance to grieve my mom. I didn't grieve her because when my mom passed, my children were small. So I had to go back to work. I had to immediately go back to work. So
Yeah.
I had to help my husband out. So I didn't even get a chance to grieve her because life would call it. I was surviving. I had to survive. So in the midst of me slowing down, that's one thing that come up. The church hurt come up. Didn't get a chance to grieve my mother like I should have. That came up for not setting boundaries for myself, just constantly the people pleasing, constantly just rushing, trying to do things to keep people to like me, to keep the parents in the business. So all of that came up. All of that came up. Yes, it just started, I had to cry. I cried a lot of days. I just cried.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was able to see my mom. My mom had me when my mom was 16. Yeah, she was 16. And I began to see her young self. I saw my mom for the first time.
Mm,
I saw my mom for the first time. Being a woman that I am now, the wisdom and everything that I have, that I have now, I seen her, and I said, Lord, I wish my mom was still living,
yeah,
so I can tell her I appreciate you for the journey that you had to, everything that you had to do, things that you had to, some things you never even talked about. Being a young parent at the age of 16 in those era, I was born in 1967. So you can imagine
yeah,
what she had to go through.
right.
And I seen my mom for the first time, and I remember lying in bed, and I just boohoo cried. And my husband, he just laid there with me and I said, I just gotta, he just let me cry. I shared what was coming out. Every time something would come out, I would share it. I would talk it over. I didn't hold it in. I would talk. I said, this was coming up now. My mom is coming up for things that she had to experience as a young parent when and it just tore me to pieces. And I saw her. So that's why I say I heal from my mom.
Mm,
I heal for her. Yeah. So I think all of that, like I said, the church hurt, grieving my mom, being everything for everyone, being the strong one, not allowing others to help me, not allowing myself to tell others that, look, I need help
right.
because I wanted to be the strong one. Yeah.
Want to be
So
the
all of
strong
that,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
all of that started coming up.
Okay. I think a lot of women build their identity around being the one who keeps everything going, which we know we do. Um, what was the hardest about no longer being able to move the way you used to?
Oh gosh, the hardest part, Angela, I believe, because my husband had to take over everything. He had to take over the cleaning, the cooking, everything.
Mm,
And sitting down watching him do that, it broke me.
mm,
Because I'm like, you know what? I was so used to taking care of everyone else that I couldn't sit still and allow someone to pour into me. And I remember him saying, this is what I'm supposed to do.
yeah.
Yeah, I am watching my kids. My kids been tremendous through this whole thing. I got 4 kids, and all of them been tremendous. Well, allowing me now to heal, to come home to me, to share my journey. But that's what's the hardest part. Well, the hardest part was sitting my behind down, couldn't walk, and allowing them to take care of me. That was the hardest part. I'm watching my husband take care of everything now. I'm watching him and watching as I slow down, he's still going. And I look at him, I'm like, Lord, I don't see how I did it that long.
Yeah.
Because we did everything together. Everything together. And now he's still going, and I'm like, I don't see how I did it.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, so that's the hardest part is was allowing others to pour back into me. That was the hardest part. And I remember right before Christmas, that's when my body just stopped. I couldn't go. I was empty. I was just like I was bone dry. I didn't have nothing else left to give.
Right.
And I couldn't even get up, stand up off the bed. So he came in, he helped me and I got me in the living room. And even when I got up to stand, Angela, the pain was so horrible. And I remember my son is tall, and I needed to get up. And he came and he helped me. And then as he was lifting me up, and I remember my head leaning down on his chest. And I'm like, Lord, I got to depend on my child to help me. Yeah, that was the most hardest part. The hardest part
Mm,
was allowing others to help me. Yeah.
yeah.
I was so bad until even during my birthdays. I would hide my birthdays because I was so used to celebrate everybody else.
Yeah. Do you feel
I,
like this experience has changed the way you see yourself?
oh yes, yes, tremendously. Tremendous. I knew I was gonna cry. I knew I
Yeah.
was. I knew I was. Yeah, because it's my story, it's my truth, it's my journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew I was. Yeah. Every time I talk about it, I cry because yeah, I was bad. I would not let anyone know it's my birthday other than my kids and my husband
Right.
because I feel as though I have to celebrate everyone else, but don't celebrate me.
Mm.
I didn't even feel it. I was so used to doing it. I remember my husband aunt telling me one day she had purchased me something and I did not know how to receive that. And I think about that, and she actually said that. She said, Merelda, she said, you so used to giving, you do not know how to receive.
Mm.
You do not know how to receive. And she was so right.
Yeah.
And at that time, I'm in my survival mode. I just took it in and let it went out one ear out of the other. But now I understand what she was saying. But yeah, I was
Right.
just that bad. I didn't know how to receive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So for the woman listening now, what would you want her to hear?
Oh gosh. I would tell her, sis, pour into you.
Yeah.
It's okay to love on you. The same love that you give everyone else. Give yourself that same love. Give yourself that same grace. Make sure your cup is full before you try to fill someone else's. And do not look for someone else to love you like you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, no one else gonna love you like that. You got to love yourself. I would tell her that it's okay to slow down.
Mm.
It's okay to slow down. It's okay for you to rest. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's the chores can wait. You know, I know you're wishing for your children to hurry up and grow up. Embrace them now. Embrace them.
Right.
So embrace your life. Pour into you. You have a purpose. You have a purpose. So live your life. That's what I would tell her.
Mm.
It's okay to slow down. It's okay to rest. It's okay to pour into you. It's okay to give yourself some love. It's okay to give yourself some grace.
Mm.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And listen to your body. Listen to your body. Listen to your body will tell you what you need to do. You just need to sit still long enough to listen. Mhm.
That was powerful. You
Yeah.
need to sit long enough to hear yourself, to listen.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's so true. That's so true.
Hmm.
Merelda, this was an amazing conversation. You
Hmm.
are such a beautiful woman. I love watching you and listening to you on TikTok. That's how we met.
Yes.
Um, so keep doing what you do. Your
Hmm.
story is so inspiring.
Yeah.
Um, Thank you for sharing it and being so vulnerable on
Yes.
here because I know it's
Yes.
hard for
Yes.
us to be vulnerable.
Yes. Yes.
But
That's
sharing
okay.
your story, I hope there are, women who will listen to this and realize that you are not alone. You know, both you and I are on the same path to help women in midlife to understand that they are not alone in this journey. And we understand because
Yes.
we've been on that journey, and and not to
Yes.
say that we're completely finished with our own journey because we're not. We're
Yes.
still living, so
Still,
we're
yes,
still on a
yes,
journey as
yes,
well.
still on a journey. Yes,
So,
and thank you because I found you before you found me. You was one of them that came up.
oh,
So therefore, like I said, if you don't reach but one person, one
right,
somebody.
right.
So I was your one somebody. So you
Yeah.
keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Just keep
Thank
doing
you.
it, keep pouring yourself out, keep doing it, keep showing up
Yeah.
and pour back into you as well because this journey it can be exhausting
It
too.
can.
Yes,
Yes, it
yes,
can
yes. So
be.
I learned to now, to set boundaries now, once I do what I gotta do, I get off and I share my little one little thing I share for the day and I'm done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So, ladies, Please, I will have her information in the description below. Please check out Miss Merelda on TikTok. I'm not sure if she's anywhere else. You're not anywhere else, just TikTok, right?
I'm on TikTok as Vitality Sip Diaries,
Okay.
and I'm on. I don't do much Facebook, but I'm on
Yeah.
Facebook. But it was my past journey, so I'm not on Facebook as much. But
Okay.
mostly I'm on TikTok. Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
Vitality Sip Diaries. Yes,
And she does go live, so
yes,
she's my inspiration. I'm gonna start going live one day. She's my
yeah.
inspiration for that. So, but yes, check her out. Her information will be in the description below. And I think that's it for this week. Again, thank you so much,
Okay,
Merelda. This has
okay,
been an amazing
okay, and
conversation.
thank you for having me. I felt so
You're
special when you
welcome.
chose me. I'm like, she should have chose anyone. I'm like, why she chose me?
Because you have a beautiful spirit, so I enjoy
Okay, well, thank
watching
you.
you.
Okay,
All
thank
right, you
you.
guys.
Okay, be
Thank you.
blessed now. Okay,
See
bye
you
bye.
guys. Bye
Okay.
bye.